As we approach the 2025 silly season, one question continues to loom over the F1 world. What will happen to the driver lineups in 2026? While the past few months have already seen seismic shifts, an even bigger shakeup appears to be on the horizon as new regulations approach, and we're all here for it. With the future of the sport set to trigger a cascade of changes, what can we expect? More importantly, who will come out on top and who will be left scrambling? If you're interested, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and put a like. Beyond the sweeping new engine regulations, one of the most compelling aspects of the 2026 season is the driver market. There's no doubt that teams and drivers alike will be weighing their options, not just for 2026, but also for 2025, as they prepare for a major technical overhaul. And at the center of it all, Max Verstappen. The Dutchman has sent mixed signals about his long-term future with Red Bull, leaving the F1 world speculating. The team, meanwhile, has been put in a difficult position by the FIA's latest technical directive on flexi front wings. A significant portion of their 2026 budget has already been spent addressing an issue that no longer requires fixing, putting Red Bull at a disadvantage heading into the new era. As if that weren't enough, Verstappen himself has expressed concerns about Red Bull's 2026 prospects. With Red Bull powertrains set to debut as an engine manufacturer, the team will effectively be rookies in that department, and Verstappen has made it clear, through his father, that he has no interest in driving a car that isn't capable of winning races. That makes 2025 a decisive season for both Verstappen and Red Bull, as he evaluates whether the team can remain competitive. Meanwhile, at Silverstone, Aston Martin is quietly assembling a powerhouse. They've been recruiting top talent from across the paddock, many of whom have worked with Verstappen in the past. With Adrian Newey reuniting with Honda and high-profile additions like Andy Cowell and Enrico Cardile, Aston Martin is positioning itself as a genuine title contender from day one in 2026. Turning down an offer from them would be tough for any driver, especially when Lawrence Stroll is involved. And if there's one thing we know about Stroll, it's that he doesn't take no for an answer. Rumors of Verstappen's potential move have been swirling for some time and have gained traction on multiple occasions. However, recent reports should be concerning for Red Bull. Verstappen has made it clear, if the team continues its current development trajectory, as seen at the end of 2024, he won't be a championship contender in the upcoming seasons. To make matters worse, the flexi front wing saga didn't unfold as Red Bull had hoped. So, is Verstappen to Aston Martin a realistic possibility for 2026? Although initial reports suggest the Dutchman would prefer to wait until the end of the first season under the new regulations before making a decision. If Red Bull struggles throughout 2025, a season in which they've already invested heavily in 2026 development, his departure could happen sooner rather than later. Even Fernando Alonso himself has hinted that 2026 might be his final year in F1 unless Aston Martin offers him an extension. However, if Verstappen is available, it's unlikely Aston Martin would prioritize Alonso for another year. If Verstappen does confirm the rumors, something that still feels hard to believe, what's next for Red Bull? A massive internal shakeup and rebuilding phase seem inevitable. Red Bull, as it stands, is not a true championship contender in the constructors category. The only reason they secured the driver's title was due to Verstappen's ability to extract everything from a car that struggled with upgrades. The fact that he endured a 10-race winless streak in 2024 speaks volumes. If a similar scenario unfolds in 2025, especially with Ferrari and McLaren locked in as frontrunners, Red Bull will need to dig deep to identify and solve their issues. This could explain why Liam Lawson has been chosen to drive alongside Verstappen in 2025. In a move reminiscent of Red Bull's decision to promote Ricciardo alongside Vettel in 2014, a four-time world champion with one foot out the door. While Lawson may not be the next Ricciardo, Red Bull is clearly thinking about the future. With his extensive experience outside of Formula One, he may not be a bad choice after all. Red Bull has a deep talent pool of young drivers, though one name that likely won't make the cut is Yuki Tsunoda, despite the positive remarks from the team regarding the Japanese driver. However, there's another scenario in which 2026 brings a major F1 shakeup without Verstappen moving to Aston Martin, an Audi move for the Silverstone-based team. While Audi signing a deal with Aston Martin may not be as exciting as a Verstappen move, it would still shake up the driver market. Aston Martin faces an aging Alonso and an inconsistent Stroll, meaning they will need a strong replacement once the two-time world champion retires. Tsunoda, for example, hasn't yet had a fair chance to prove himself in competitive machinery. While some within Red Bull have suggested he isn't ready for the senior team, this could only fuel his determination. Given Honda's close relationship with its drivers, and the fact that Tsunoda's early career in F1 was heavily influenced by Honda's presence at Red Bull, his future may still be tied to them. Tsunoda has done everything he can to prove himself, and after hearing reports of how Hauger impressed in the 2024 postseason Abu Dhabi test, allegedly outpacing the Japanese driver, it's clear that Yuki will need to step up. He has already vowed to obliterate any driver Red Bull puts in his way, and if Aston Martin sees the untapped potential in him, they could offer him the right tools to develop. Meanwhile, the 11th team on the grid from 2026 onwards, Cadillac, seems unlikely to offer Tsunoda a seat. However, with Red Bull eager to promote young talent to its sister team, there could be a scenario where Yuki takes on a reserve role at Aston Martin in 2026 before being promoted once Alonso retires. Of course, this all depends on whether Verstappen chooses to stay at Red Bull and believes they can return to winning ways in the coming years. One thing is certain. The upcoming seasons promise to bring a massive shakeup to Formula One. Teams should take note. This is an opportunity to secure competitive drivers and reposition themselves for future success. The team holding all the cards? Aston Martin? The team with the most to lose? Red Bull. So, with all of this in mind, do you think the Verstappen to Aston Martin rumors will finally become reality? And if so, who would replace him at Red Bull as they enter a new era without their four-time world champion? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.